Azadi, freedom. Here the cries ring loud. The cries of freedom reverberate from Sindh. Azadi! Screams of Azadi come from Balochistan. Armed struggle has already begun from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit Baltistan. And Pakistan-occupied Kashmir looks to the east to hope for a future like their neighbors in India. As the Islamic nation finds it tough to stand on its own 2 feet to resolve the existing financial crisis, there is an emerging threat that could lead Pakistan towards balkanization. In this special episode, we explore some genuine concerns mounting within this nuclear-armed South Asian nation that could lead the country towards split and endanger the world further. Bordering India, Afghanistan, Iran, and China, Pakistan is comprised of 4 provinces: Punjab, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Balochistan. Pakistan also has a federal territory, the Islamabad Capital Territory, and 2 occupied regions, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit Baltistan, both parts of erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, which had become part of India in 1947 and are now illegally occupied by Pakistan. All these provinces and territories of Pakistan have diverse cultures, languages, and ethnicities. Unfortunately, Pakistan has failed to keep them united. The Punjabis, who are arguably the most prosperous of Pakistan's ethnic groups, hold all major posts within the government, the army, and the judiciary. They have been lucky to avoid many of the crises plaguing the rest of the country. These crises, which continue to persist, have fueled sectarian and separatist violence. Pakistanis have largely lost faith in the coalition government headed by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, having failed to carry out any of the much-needed economic reforms in the country.
People are not happy with the Pakistan government or Pakistan system or whatever army is doing, whatever judiciary is doing. They are totally not happy, and they are looking for such movements that can come up and lead them.
Balochistan, the largest of Pakistan's 4 provinces, has rich mineral reserves including gold, copper, black pearl, oil, and valuable stones. Despite its vast resources, however, the people here live in immense poverty. The indigenous Baloch population call Pakistan an occupier, as the region was sovereign before it was forcefully annexed on March 28, 1948. The ongoing separatist movement in Balochistan has led to an increase in cases of enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, and tortures. The educated Baloch youth and intellectuals remain the first targets of Pakistani security forces. The Baloch are living as a minority on their own land and continue to face persecution at the hands of the Pakistan Army and spy agency, the ISI. With Pakistan's financial crisis owing to rising debt and dwindling foreign exchange, the Baloch's situation has become even more dire. The separatist movement in Balochistan has intensified, and opposition against Pakistan and its ally China has risen.
There are a lot of protests from the people who are there on the ground, that they are protesting for their basic fundamental rights, for their economic rights, for their water rights, for their sea rights.
The pro-independence movement in Pakistan's Sindh province is also escalating. In 1972, Sindhi political leader G.M. Syed proposed the formation of an independent nation for the Sindhis under the name Sindhu Desh. The movement for Sindhi language and identity led by Syed drew inspiration from the Bengali language movement. Today, several pro-independence organizations like GA Sindh Qawmi Mahaz, World Sindhi Congress, and GA Sindh Freedom Movement have gained a wider support base within Sindh and international platforms. The Sindhis, who can trace their roots to the ancient Indus Valley civilization, have realized that remaining integrated with Pakistan, their future will be uncertain and under threat, and thus voices for a separate state have gathered steam. Facing discrimination, extreme poverty, and loss of their Sindhi culture and language, the people in this part of Pakistan are determined to fight for their right for freedom.
The historical nations, particularly Sindhis, Balochs, and Pashtuns, are thinking that what is way out for us? And the only way out for us is the emancipation of these historical nations.
The Pashtun-dominated regions of Pakistan have traditionally remained favorable towards neighboring Afghanistan due to a shared ethnicity and language. A stronghold of the Taliban and other Islamic fundamentalist and terrorist groups, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan continues to remain volatile. The region, which is inaccessible to media, remains backward, with intense poverty, unemployment, and little to no healthcare facilities. Since 2018, resistance movements by local youth under the banner of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement has persisted, as they demand equal rights for Pashtuns and defy Pakistan for violating human rights in the region. The Pashtuns, like the rest of disenchanted Pakistani citizens, have lost faith in the government, in particular with the ever-worsening economic situation.
I think this is Pakistan's biggest fault line, which is just ticking under the surface, the Pashtuns.
The Pashtuns.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, Smita. It is so dangerous, that what they have seen in Balochistan is nothing once the Pashtuns get, highly armed, highly motivated, enough members in the armed forces, enough members in the bureaucracy, right? They control Karachi for all practical purposes.
Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Gilgit Baltistan, which have been under Pakistan's forceful occupation since 1947, are also experiencing mass resistance to the Pakistani government. Cripplingly high inflation, food and medicine shortages, unemployment, and increasing distrust in the government are the key drivers behind the recent massive anti-Pakistan protests. Pakistan has long exploited PoK and Gilgit Baltistan for their resources and has used the territories as breeding grounds for terrorism and has exploited their natural resources. This region is also used as a launchpad to push terrorists into India.
Any persons who raise the genuine questions in the society is victimized through different kind of a propaganda. So the people are helpless. They have no any support from anywhere. That's why people feel isolation and deprived.
The continuing turmoil on both the political and economic fronts in Pakistan has led to widespread rebellion within the country. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan, in his media interview, cautioned that if the ruling government does not stabilize the nation, Pakistan could be at risk of balkanization. This risk seems imminent as the Pakistani rupee continues to sink to new lows against the dollar, and every day is a struggle for survival for the large majority of the Pakistani population.